Hello! So today's moving day, but not into our new house, but yet another emergency short-term rental situation, and we're supposed to move today and we still don't have the key. It's not stressful at all. But like I really need to find like the knowledge that I always had here on Azores, like everything is gonna be fine. Things might be stressful, things might be slow, things might not go as organized and effective as I would like them to, but in the end, everything is always gonna turn out okay one way or the other. It's always like that here on the island, so I'm trying to keep my cool and just trying to prepare as best as I can for the moment we finally have the key, because we need to get out of here. And while I wait for the last laundry to be done, by the way, sorry if you can hear it in the background, I just wanted to quickly give a reading update. As you could see in one of the previous clips, I finished A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree. I think both books together are definitely my top fantasy series of all time, maybe even on the top spot, because I love so much about these books. However, while I rated this 5 stars, I really have to say that I didn't read it at the right time in my life, because just I have so little capacity at the moment, like since over a year, because of all the house stuff and health stuff and some other stuff. Like there's just so much going on in my life that reading such a huge, chunky, complex, high fantasy book sometimes is just a lot. And this book in particular is just insanely slow. It's almost 900 pages thick. It's very tall as well. The font isn't huge. Like it's not tiny either, but it's not huge. And there's no suspense in this book whatsoever, especially if you've read The Priory of the Orange Tree. One of the biggest plot twists that is happening in this book, you already know that it's gonna happen because you see it, and like you see the consequences or like the follow-up to that in The Priory of the Orange Tree. So as soon as that character showed up, I knew exactly what was gonna happen. And the other big thing of the book, you also know very early on exactly how it's going to be resolved. And also the writing style, as beautiful as it is, doesn't really show you much. Like it doesn't leave anything to the imagination, and it's not very action focused, so there's like no tension, nothing that like keeps you hooked and wanting you to fly through the pages. Because there's, again, no tension, no suspense, no plot twists, nothing unexpected. It's very much a character and history study of the world, and it's beautifully done, but it's just very, very slow. And I don't think that this book is for everybody, despite the hype around it. Since I finished this book, I've been trying to find something new to read, like a new fiction read, but I'm kind of lost at what I want to read. I started a bunch of audiobooks, stopped all of them because nothing was working for me. I let my partner randomly choose a book on my e-reader, but it's another first book in a high fantasy series. It's The Bone Shard Daughter, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. So I'm kind of at a loss with this. However, speaking of trying to keep it easy, I started a nonfiction, which is this one, The Body Keeps the Score, Mind, Brain and Body in the Transformation of Trauma by Bessel van der Kolk. And this is a 450, 500 page, very dense, tiny font nonfiction, scientific nonfiction about trauma and its effects on the body and all of that kind of stuff. So this is not an easy read. This is very dense and of course also like a very impactful topic. And I've read the first chapter, the first 25 pages, and it's good. It's good so far. I even started, annotating. Usually I don't annotate my books, but I don't know if you can see because it's a green pen that I'm using. I started to annotate a little bit because I have a feeling that this book will be impactful and that it will have an effect on me and my life, and that I will want to pick it up in the future and go through it and just re-experience how present me has read this book for the first time, like what my thoughts were and so on and so forth, and then just see in a few years like how I feel about it then. So I think I will enjoy this, but I don't think that this is going to be a quick or an easy read for me. Please let me know in the comments down below what you are currently reading, and if you have ever gone through an incredibly stressful time, which books or other medias, also movies or podcasts or whatever it is that you consume, have helped you through this time. I would love to know. I am done! Oh my god, I can't believe it. I am finally done with painting. So many days of my life, literally, I spent in here painting. So many layers, so much ink, but now it is finally done for the most part. If you are curious, we used around 40 liters of ink for this entire floor. This does not include the basement, and this does not include the thing that's behind you, which is the area above the stone oven. That's like a storage area, because that's just not relevant right now and it's full of stuff. So obviously I'm not painting that anytime soon, but that is Zukunftsmusik, as we would say in German. So it was 40 liters of regular ink. We used like a vinyl matte color, white, plus 4 liters of this thing, which is like an anti-fungus, anti-humidity ink, which is crazy expensive. Otherwise this would be everywhere. because if you didn't know, Azores are incredibly humid and it's very, very hard to keep the humidity outside, even if you have a dehumidifier running 24/7. It's still, the humidity on these islands is insane. And therefore you have a lot of problems with mold, and especially because this house is so old and had windows that were not sealing anything, and nobody lived in here for 3 years before we finally bought the house. So of course, like, there are a lot of places where lots of humidity got into the walls. When it was raining, the water, especially here in the kitchen, literally ran down the wall underneath the window like a waterfall. So those places got a little bit of extra treatment, as well as the bathroom, because of course bathroom, lots of humidity. So before the move, there are still a lot of things to do, but paint-wise, I'm pretty much done. The only thing I still need to paint is the ceiling of the bathroom, which is over there. So clearly not on the ceiling of the bathroom. Which is why I said it will be 40 liters at some point when this is installed. But this will happen soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then this just needs to be painted. And then, at least paint-wise, we're good to go. But again, there are a lot of other things to do. But let me show you something very exciting. Let me take you there. Oh my God, I look horrifying. It literally arrived 2 days ago, and I'm currently in the process of cleaning it. And that is, ta-da! Our fridge. I have named him Herbert. He's very big and very dark. And he was on sale because he has some scratches underneath the magnet of the energy up there. So that was that. So we saw that and we snatched the deal. And this is our old fridge that was already in the house when we bought it. And it is still running. It still works. It's just not in the best condition. I've cleaned it so many times, but it's still, like, I think you can see like the mold everywhere, and I've cleaned it a lot, and it still looks like this. And yeah, it's not very hygienic. We're gonna keep it just to like store, I don't know, drinks or whatever if we ever have a party. So it's not wasted. It doesn't go to the garbage. As long as it's running, we're gonna make use out of it, but in the basement, not in the middle of the kitchen, obviously. We're gonna carry that down today. But yeah, Herbert is in the house. Hello everybody. I honestly have no idea what the last clip was, or maybe the last video that you've seen, because time has been just a big blur the last couple of weeks. So we have moved into our current emergency apartment that we have for the month of May. Afterwards we need to leave and need to move in here. And as I mentioned in previous videos, we had a problem with the floor. You might remember the video where we did the floor, where we put it down. Like over there was the first board that we put, and that is exactly where we made a huge mistake that I'm not a person for regret, but I regret it deeply. If you've seen the floor video, you saw that that was the hardest week by far that I ever had physically. It was an incredible act of labor to get the old floor out, the old beams out, new beams, new floor. It was very intense. And I already mentioned that we had a problem that the floor got dirty and damaged because we couldn't treat it right away. And there was work going on here with cement and that kind of stuff, so that kind of ruined the wood, and that was problem number one. But then appeared problem number two, which was far worse. So while we were already searching for someone to sand the floor, which was already a nightmare and a half to find anybody that offers this service on this island, I was painting, and when I was painting this wall right behind me, like the bookshelf situation over here, I noticed right underneath on the floor there was like a little bump, and I was confused. I was like, what's going on? But I didn't really look into it because I was like, oh, I need to finish the painting and everything. And then a few days later, I removed the paper that was all over the floor. And that was when we could see that the floor really had a bump. It was coming up in one point, and we were like, what's happening? And then within a week, the whole thing cracked open. It got so much worse, like a volcano, literally. It was literally like a volcano. It came up and it then just exploded. And the floor was destroyed all along the wall behind me. The reason for that is that this is wood. And wood is alive, and it works and it moves, especially with humidity. And especially if it hasn't been stored correctly or for long enough, especially in the climate that you're gonna use it. We don't know how it was stored before we got it. We bought it from the mainland. But of course here we didn't store it. Like, we didn't have time, we didn't have the space because it's a ton of wood and the house isn't big enough to store wood for weeks and months at a time, and we didn't have the time anyway to store something for so long. And so we just put it down and we put it super close to the wall, which is a huge no-no. Don't ever do this, people. I don't give advice usually because, again, I'm a noob. I know nothing of renovations and I make a ton of mistakes. But just let me give you this one piece of advice. Never put your wood floor next to the wall. You're supposed to leave like a distance between like 1 and 1.5 centimeters on all sides to the walls so the wood can expand and move around over time. And this is especially true in a climate with high humidity like we have it here. In the week that the floor exploded, it was the end of 2 weeks of continuous crazy rain. So the humidity was insane, especially here in this house because like we're not here all the time, so the dehumidifier isn't running 24/7. And yeah, the floor just broke. And I tell you that we were going insane because now we not only needed someone to come and sand the floor as fast as possible because we were running out of time, but now also somebody had to fix our broken floor immediately because with each day that passed, more cracking appeared, more got broken. There were like some cracks all along the living room floor, and we were afraid that the same was going to happen in the hallway and in the bedroom because it's the same situation everywhere. Like the wood, our contractor made so much effort into putting the floor as close to the wall as possible so it looks as nice as possible. He also put down the I don't know the English term, rodape fußleiste, the thing where it's grey now, where you usually have like a piece of wood
alongside the wall. He also put that in immediately, so that's also something you're not supposed to do. So we don't really know what happened here. We just didn't know it any better, and that was just the biggest mistake that we have done in this entire renovation. So we were really in a odyssey. Is that how you say that in English? We were basically in a continuous cycle of frustration and bad things happening because we were really trying to find somebody, which again is already very difficult to find specialized workers on the island, especially ones that can come like spontaneously. It's basically impossible to find someone in general and then to find someone who can come in like on short notice. And we had one person, that was the person I mentioned in a past video. That person was always saying, no, not this week, maybe next week, maybe next week, maybe next week, maybe. And then the floor cracked and we were like, okay, we cannot wait for this person anymore. We need to find somebody else. Then we had somebody else who looked at it, who was here and was like, oh yeah, like we need to get this fixed, I'm coming tomorrow. Didn't come the next day, and then it went on for way over a week, like I'm coming tomorrow, I'm coming tomorrow, I'm coming tomorrow. There was no bad intention, I would like to clarify that. That person was really nice. But this is like really like an Azorean thing, and everybody, don't come for me in the comments because you know it's true, everybody that ever had to hire somebody on this island for any kind of like service to do something for them, you are confronted with people not picking up the phone, ghosting you, never calling you back, never getting back to you, promising things that they can't keep, saying they're gonna come and just not show up and not be available, that kind of stuff. It's a very Azorean thing, and it's very frustrating, and it drives you insane if you have the clock ticking and your floor is breaking more and more with each passing day. Eventually, the person that was always saying tomorrow, he was like, okay, listen guys, like I just can't make any more promises. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna call somebody, maybe that person can come. And he called somebody, and he called in a favor, and he said like, hey, listen, I know you're stressed, I know you don't have time, but you owe me, and I need you to come over here tomorrow and help those people because they really need your help. And that's exactly what happened. So thank God, thank those people for doing that, because we were desperate at that point. We even tried to fix it ourselves, which didn't work. Bad idea, don't do it. And it just, we were at a breaking point at that moment, and then that person actually showed up the next day and fixed everything. And I'm just so relieved that somebody came and helped us after like weeks and weeks of absolute odyssey, of running after people and getting disappointed every single day and panicking what will happen to the floor while knowing we need to move this month. And yeah, but now that is done, and I have already applied 2 layers of the primer in the last couple of days, and now I'm here hand sanding because I couldn't find the right grind for my little sanding machine, so I'm doing everything by hand. It's a great arm workout. So after I'm done hand sanding the floor, I will clean the floor, and then I'm gonna apply the first layer of varnish, which is super exciting because that means we're getting so close to the finish line. And we have our contractor come on the weekend. Oh, by the way, if anybody was wondering where the contractor was while our floor was broken, we have no idea. End of story. So our contractor is coming on the weekend for a day to hopefully get the ceiling up in the bathroom. Then we just need the electrician to come for like a few hours to put the lamps in and finish all of that up. And then the house is far from ready, but it will finally be at a state where we can live here, which is insane to me at this point. Is coming this month. It's coming so soon. We're literally on the last stretch, and I'm so excited. Oh my God. I'm just so excited to be here and live here and just have the whole worry of where are we gonna stay next month out of our heads and just finally move in and make this into a home. And maybe it will stop feeling like a massive headache because that's what this house has been like for us for the last couple of months. We are really burned out from 14 months at this point, 15 by the time when we move in, 15 months of renovations non-stop is coming not to a close because we're so far from being done with this house, but we're finally at a point where we can live here, which is exciting. And for the last couple of months, just everything has been going wrong. The floor was just the biggest of things. Right now, our IKEA order is lost and nobody can tell us where it is. It's fantastic. We've been calling after IKEA for an entire week already, every single day. Nobody knows anything where our order went. It's not like we need that furniture, but hey, because we have no furniture. Yeah, I don't know if they delivered it to a neighbor and the neighbor was the ocean, or if a cow ate the order, or I don't know what the hell happened, but 85 euros for shipping. Yeah, everything is just going wrong for the last couple of months, so I'm very ready to live here and hopefully be able to slow down a little bit because we really need it. And I also need to focus back on my work, on my freelance work, and on my writing and all of these kind of things. I also need to make a new Skillshare class. I have so many things to do and no time and no health, because I mentioned in a previous video, chronic health is an issue in this household. And yeah, I'm ready to slow down and have a routine again and have a home. Anyway, I hope the next time I'm gonna see you, I'm gonna be a very happy potato, moving in or having moved in or something along those lines. I really hope that the next time is gonna be good news only. Let's manifest it, okay? Let's manifest it together. Next time, good news only.